Ladies and gentlemen, we are proceeding to the next point of the conference. So it will be my great pleasure to introduce and welcome online Vice President and Commissioner Vera Jourová. I hope that the technicalities will work, but I see that it will work. So if you allow me, Ms. Vice President, I would like to introduce you briefly. So Vera Jourová is Vice President, as I said, of the European Commission for Values and Transparency, and deals with democracy, rule of law, media pluralism, and fight against disinformation. From 2014 to 2019, she served as EU Commissioner for Justice, Consumers, and Gender Equality. In 2014, before her years at the European Commission, Ms. Jourová had the position of Minister for Regional Development in the Czech Republic. Previous to this, from 2006 to 2013, she worked as an international consultant on European Union funding. She was also involved in consultancy activities in the Western Balkans relating to the European Union accession. She holds a degree in law and a master's degree in the theory of culture from Charles University, Prague. Vice President, it's my great pleasure to give you the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great pleasure for me to speak here today on a very important topic on protecting EU values and the rule of law. And I am really, honestly, I'm happy that I cannot be there with you in Budapest. I was planning to come, but then the diarrhea got crazy and I could not make it. And also I regret I cannot do it in Hungarian language, although all those 10 years I was receiving a lot of letters and emails in Hungarian language, and I started to at least recognize which are good words and bad words. So you can imagine there was a lot of connection and communications. But let's jump to the topic. The rule of law is non-negotiable fundamental value of the EU, as President von der Leyen said in her candidate statement to the European Parliament in July. The rule of law and the fight against corruption will also be at the heart of the work of the next Commission, and it was, of course, at the heart of the work of the finishing Commission. And as she also said, we will strengthen all our tools and we will step up our enforcement. Here, it is the first moment I want to react on Minister Bóka. He destroyed my speech because I want to react on him, which is, I think, a good method. So you need to have a dialogue. He said that the Commission wants to strengthen the tools and measures, maybe going beyond the red line. So I would recommend everyone to be listening to the hearings of the coming commissioners, mainly Mr. McGrath, who has the hearing tomorrow, the new Justice Commissioner, and the Executive Vice President for Values and Digital Agenda, Henna Virkkunen, who will speak on the 12th of November. I think that you will also understand better and in more details how the Commission will position itself towards the topics of the rule of law as a fundamental value. Another reaction, Mr. Bóka is right that the fight against corruption, meaning the directive against corruption, has been adopted as a consolidated text by the Council already in June, and now it is parked in the European Parliament. And believe me, whenever I speak to the key people in the European Parliament, I am very I speak with the sense of urgency that this is an important piece of legislation which needs to be adopted by both co-legislators. It means also by the European Parliament. Now to the principle of the rule of law. All member states representatives signed the relevant articles or the Lisbon Treaty, where there are relevant articles, especially Article 2 and Article 19, which speak about the obligation for the member states to organize their justice systems in accordance with the EU law. And any deficiency in one member state has an impact on all other member states and the EU as a whole. That's why we have this principle already in Article 2. I heard a lot of times from Hungarian representation and in the past also from Polish representation that we are not able to define what the rule of law means. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are much better equipped. Already several years, we work with what Mr. Bóka called substantive understanding of the rule of law. For me, the substantive understanding is given in several very key decisions of the European Court of Justice, which is the only institution in the EU which has the power of interpreter of the treaty and of the legislation. So it's not the Commission which is interpreting the relevant articles in the treaty. And from the European Court of Justice, we know that there are concrete parameters of the functioning of the rule of law in a member state and in the European Union and its institutions. I will come back to it. And also there is a clear definition of the systemic breach of the rule of law in a member state. And here comes the Article 7, because Article 7 speaks about systemic breach. What the Court of Justice says, when there is accumulation of several factors which cause, which put into question the rule of law principle and system in the member state, then we speak about the systemic breach. Sorry, I am a bit explaining how we work with the definition, but I think it's important that we know what we speak about. And honestly, I always felt that what I cannot define, I cannot defend. So I am really defending the rule of law principle using the interpretation of the European Court of Justice. Mr. Bóka said that the EU institutions should, we call it in Czech language, we have a proverb, to clean own backyard. Maybe it's the same in Hungarian language. We are under very strict scrutiny by the European Court of Justice, but mainly the European Parliament. And we, as the Commission, we respect very much the competencies given to us by the treaty. And that's why also what Mr. Bóka said, that it's he didn't say scandalous, but it's a very questionable way forward to use the recommendations under the rule of law principle, rule of law report for the infringements or the financial blockage. Well, the Commission is always working with a very precise reading of the legislation, and we are very prudent when it comes to our competencies. I will come to it in a minute again. The rule of law report. Indeed, there are no recommendations. We have 4 more countries because we are also covering the 4 Western Balkan countries, which is a novelty. After several years of rule of law report functioning, I can say that it's a very useful tool. First of all, and here again I will quote Mr. Bóka, we are covering all member states, and here I am not repeating what Mr. Bóka said, we apply very prudently equal treatment and objective assessment. Why we started to do these annual assessments, using the rule of law report as a tool? Well, it was very strong voice from Budapest and Warsaw back, I don't know, 5 years ago, that we are only watching these 2 countries and we are not looking at other systems and other member states. So we are doing it now, and we use equal methodology for all the member states. We use very comparable channels of information. Some are very stable. The main partner for the rule of law report is the Ministry of Justice of each member state. And we have other sources of information. All are well known. So we are fully transparent about who is supporting us with their data and assessments so that we can finalize the country-specific report. The rule of law report showed that we have indeed 27 unique constitutional systems. We have 27 specific solutions. In each chapter, we see differences because there are 4 chapters: judiciary and prosecution, checks and balances, anti-corruption fight, and media situation. And I think that the recommendations are a very useful tool for the member states and for the Commission to have structured dialogue with the member states, especially the national parliaments. Believe me, I traveled to, I think, all the member states, to the national parliaments and to the ministries, using the rule of law report for that specific country as the as a background or substance for the dialogue. So we speak about rule of law principle and we speak about very concrete matters. It's not academic or purely legal or technocratic discussion. So rule of law report is useful. Again, I recommend to listen to the hearings, how the new commissioners will want to work further with the recommendations. I want also to speak about the discussion under the Council or in the Council, General Affairs Council, which deal with the Article 7. And as you know, Hungary is the country which is under the scrutiny of the Council within the Article 7 procedure. I think there were 7 hearings already of Hungary and Hungarian representation, and there has always been a good opportunity, unlimited almost. Yeah, there is some time limit, but a very broad opportunity for the Hungarian representation to explain the steps of the Hungarian government and political representation in general. And it is always a very honest and open discussion, useful for both sides. And it's not the Commission driving the process. It's for the member states to ask questions and to receive answers. So it's not true what Mr. Bóka indicated, that this Article 7 has been politicized or given to the hands of the Commission. Article 7 is a process which could lead to some sanction imposed on the member state which is breaching the rule of law principle in a systemic way. It hasn't happened yet. We would need 26 member states to say yes, Hungary is beyond the principle of the rule of law, sanction the country by depriving it of the voting rights. It hasn't happened yet. The dialogue is continuing. And Hungary, as I said before, has a very good opportunity to defend what the country political representation is doing. Please note that I never speak about Hungary, what Hungary is doing, but Hungarian political representation, because it was a matter of principle for me, that, and also for Ursula von der Leyen, that we are speaking about the breaches of rule of law caused by politics and not accusing of anything Hungarian people. Of course, there are voters of the leading party, but this was never our approach. And here I come to the money and to the financial tools. There was a question from, I think it was Klub Radio, whether the Hungarian representation is doing enough to unblock the frozen money. I agree that Hungarian people deserve to have full support from the European budget. Hungarian people need European support to have better education and health system, better infrastructure, better environment. But we cannot help it. We have rules which say that there must be fully functioning independent judiciary and several other things which we have to see, as I said, fully functioning. That's why we cannot make all the funding available I think that at this moment there are still 19 billion euros frozen, and I can confirm what the Minister said, that there are very intense technical discussions between the Hungarian lawyers and experts and between the Commission professional experts and lawyers about the reforms which we want from Hungary to be done, and Hungary is working on it. I remember very well when we discussed about the blockage of the money under the conditionality principle. It's a bit difficult system now. Conditionality is a separate story. Recovery plan has also separate rule, and fundamental rights and the charter is also the one of the links which might lead to freezing of the money. Coming back to conditionality, Hungarian representation committed to do 17, if I remember well, 17 things, some concrete reforms which should lead to more transparent procurements. They committed to establish the integrity body, the public system for registration of the public procurements, and so on. Very concrete things which we wanted to see in Hungary being done, so that we can unfroze the money from cohesion operational programs. And I remember well, I offered to Madam Minister Judith Varga that I will come to the country and I will speak to the director of the integrity body and to those who are operating the internet system for public procurements, that I will want to speak to the judges and to other relevant figures and bodies, so that to be sure that what's written on the paper of Hungarian commitments will also work in practice, because we want to see practical usage of the reforms, not papers only. And it was not desired that I come. And I didn't want to do it as an inspection, rather as a helping hand, and as somebody who wants to be sure that if we say yes, all the reforms are in place, I will be sure that they will work in practice, as I said. It was not desired. And I was not able to come and to do these discussions and undertake these discussions with the relevant bodies. And I say it as a regret, because I am finishing my mandate now, and I want to say that on my side there was always the maximum possible willingness to discuss things and understand things, because what the Commission was many times accused of, that we are taking decisions from Brussels tables and Brussels rooms, that we don't understand Hungarian realities. I was always willing and prepared to understand better. But it's the past. I just wanted to tell you this as an illustration that the dialogue between Commission and Hungary can be better and can be more open and more maybe productive even. I am finishing now. Maybe a last word on the money. Yes, indeed. It is a very important matter whether we make the EU funding available to the member states. It's a concrete thing. It's a concrete kind of sanction we are imposing on the member state. But, ladies and gentlemen, I always felt that much more is at stake than the money. It's the trust. And Minister Bóka also spoke about trust. I have to add, from my position, that if we don't have trust among the EU member states and EU institutions, we will see the erosion of the ability of full and honest cooperation in the EU, and we are existentially dependent on honest and open and trustworthy cooperation. So erosion and breach of rule of law in one member state creates big problems for the whole EU. That's why we started to focus on the rule of law principle, and we do not take it, again, we, the Commission, we don't take it as a legal only issue or political issue or even ideological issue. How we understand the rule of law principle, it is the universal value which should be respected and promoted and defended by every winner of elections, because we believe that this is in the interest of true democrats, that we have well-functioning rule of law principle, which means nothing less than limitation of powers. Unlimited power is something which we don't want to see in the EU, be it at the member state level, but also at European institutions level. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. I was watching you in the auditorium, in the audience, listening patiently. So thank you for patient listening, and I wish you all the best in defending and promoting the rule of law and fundamental rights as the basic values in the EU and in Hungary. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President, for your insightful keynote speech. And if you agree, we could have some time for the questions and Q&As. So I ask the audience if anybody wants to pose questions. So please, Esther.
Thank you very much for this lecture. My name is Esther Nagy, and I asked this question from the minister, and he gave an answer, and I would like to have your view as well about the recovery fund, because as far as I know, there is a deadline of by the end of 26, it has to be spent and everything finalized. And as far as I know, we haven't even really started it in Hungary. How do you see the chances? Is there a possibility for Hungary to still use the recovery fund that we haven't been able to start, even if I know it well? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. I think I heard the reply of the minister, who said that they are intensively working with the Commission experts to meet the deadline. I have to tell you that the deadline of the end of 26 is a very tough for almost all the member states. It was already clear at the beginning when we started recovery funding that the member states will have to hurry up to meet the deadlines. So I cannot predict whether Hungary and other member states who already now speak about big troubles to meet the deadline, whether they will manage. I also know that not from official meetings, but rather from the informal talks, that there will be efforts from some member states to convince the Commission to postpone the deadline. But I don't want to speculate on that. It will be the matter of for the discussions with the new Commission.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Thank you. I'm András Lukács from the Clean Action Group, a Hungarian environmental NGO. We have been working for many years.
Speak up because we cannot hear you.
Yes. So I am András Lukács from the Clean Action Group, a Hungarian environmental NGO. We have been working for many years with other partner organizations in various countries on assessing the use of EU funds. And we have concluded that there are enormous problems with EU funding, with how EU money is used in all over Europe. And this has, among others, led to an increase of corruption in many cases. We have made recommendations to improve this. We have discussed this many times with officials in the Commission. Our conclusions and recommendations were not refuted, so we didn't receive any negative reply from the Commission. However, we do not see these recommendations being implemented. So how should we proceed further, in your opinion, so that to improve the use of EU funds, because the current system has very serious problems? Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Speaking about corruption, I would like to stress the role of the European Public Prosecutor's Office, which is dealing with the criminal cases, with the suspicions that there is a corruption on EU money. And here comes the problem I see in Hungary, that Hungary did not join the European Public Prosecutor's Office at the beginning or later. Maybe you know that Poland joined PPO, if I can use the acronym, this year. Also Sweden. So there is still opportunity to join the EPPO. It is the institution which is dealing with the criminal activities relating to EU money. And for the moment, the investigations are up and running. And there is a chance to bring, now listen to the figure, 20 billion euro back to the public budgets, 20 billion euros, which is now being investigated. So it's a pity that Hungary did not join, because I remember well, I tried to convince, I think it was still Minister Trocsányi, that we would like to see Hungary joining the EPPO, because Hungary is the net receiver of the EU funding, and it didn't happen. But corruption is not only, we don't look at it as only the criminal justice case. I always say that when it gets to the hands of the prosecutors, it's late. That's why already mentioned anti-corruption directive and the whole anti-corruption package contains stricter rules and stricter definition of corruption within the criminal justice sphere, plus several very practical methods how to increase prevention against corruption. And here I have to repeat my regret that this anti-corruption package has been stopped in the legislative process in the European Parliament, and I really do hope that it will be unblocked soon, and we will soon see better tools, be it in criminal justice sphere, but also on the side of prevention.
Thank you very much. I think not to abuse the time of Vice President, we will collect the last three questions. Yes. So 1, 2, 3. Yeah, please.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. My name is Vera Jourová. Believe it or not, it was about 25 years ago that the Transparency Commission of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Budapest initiated a project regarding whistleblower protection. And we called some experts, legal experts from the United States, who designed the basic concepts of the United States.
Sorry, I cannot hear the question. It's very...
Well, my question is, to cut it short, my question is, do you see any chance at the European level, for the Commission to devise or propose a kind of harmonization effort between and among the member states to develop legal provisions for whistleblower protection, which is kind of a piece of a guarantee for the anti-corruption efforts. Thank you very much.
For which protection? I didn't hear it.
Please repeat the question because
I was talking about whistleblower protection, meaning someone who come up with the report that there is some
What's the question concerning the whistleblower protection? So what is the concrete question?
The question is whether there is any effort at the European Commission level to harmonize or develop for member states a harmonized approach how to protect whistleblowers. Thank you.
Okay, whistleblowers, yes, but I didn't hear the subject. Well, of course, we adopted the whistleblowers protection directive already in the previous mandate. It was my job, and we are still not satisfied with the transposition of the directive into the national systems in several member states. And I think that there are also issues in Hungarian response to the whistleblowers directive. So the harmonization has been done to the maximum possible extent, but now, of course, you know well with the directives, it is always the trouble that the directive gives the member state the space to deviate from the text. They have to keep the spirit of the legislation, but they can deviate from the precise text. And this is what we see in some member states. So for the next Commission, I think it will be a big task to bring member states back to the original meaning of the whistleblowers directive. And to, I would like to see this well functioning in practice, because we need to protect brave people who are willing to leave their comfort zone and say that at their workplace there is some criminal activity. It's never an easy thing, and I really would like to protect the brave people better. Sorry, I have to run away.
Sorry, Vice President, there were two last questions, if you may. They are both from the press, so we would need to include these two if that's possible, and then we let you go. If you allow.
Yes, be quick, please. I will be as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you again. My name is Zsoltár Kányi. I'm the local correspondent of RTI News Hungary. And Minister Bóka mentioned that if there is a will, there is a way.
There is a horrible echo. I don't hear.
Like this way?
Yes.
Like this way, if I'm speaking up? My name is Zsoltár Kányi from the RTI News Hungary local correspondent. And my question would refer to the suspended EU funds. Mr. Bóka just mentioned that if there is a will, there is a way. What do you think on the ongoing discussions? Which is the most problematic level? The level of experts, the level of ministers, or the level of the Prime Minister Viktor Orbán himself? Thank you.
Yes, you are right. There are these three layers. You have good information. Because on technical level, I can appreciate the hard work of the Hungarian officials and the professional workers of different ministries. But then at the political level, it always gets complicated, because you heard Minister Bóka that they say that it's politicized process, but it's not the Commission which politicizes the process. We are used to respect the opinion of our legal experts. And and I will not comment the level of the prime minister, because you know the reality that sometimes what we hear from Prime Minister Orban is I will be open in contradiction with what we hear at the technical level, where we really meet the colleagues who we trust and who can work very professionally and with open cards. But yes, this is political level, which is problematic for many other politicians in the European Union. And here I don't speak about the Commission, but rather about the leaders of other member states.
Thank you very much. And the very last question from telex.hu.
Thank you, Balázs Márton, Telex. I have a question regarding the conditionality mechanism, because in mid-December, Hungary is set to lose more than 1 billion euros permanently if this has not been solved. So given the current state of affairs, do you see it possible that an agreement with the Commission evaluation and the Council voting can be arranged?
I would speculate at this moment, and I'm not sitting there with the experts dealing with these matters, because it's mainly for the experts working under the budget line. I am not the budget line, but I think that you saw the treatment or the behavior of the Commission when we see things being done. We are unblocking the money, although we have been heavily criticized by especially the European Parliament for unblocking those, I think, 10 billion. We saw the things being done, so we had to act, and we had to act according to the books, according to the law. So I can only guarantee that the Commission will continue this approach in the future, and once the conditions are met on Hungarian side, the Commission will react accordingly. But we need to see things done, and we need to see the reforms proposed. I will repeat myself, on the paper, which will work in practice. So, and which will be sustainable, because it's always the principle which we have in mind when we are negotiating and discussing the justice reforms or the reforms of prosecution or anti-corruption. Not only with Hungary, I had hundreds of discussions with other member states and with the accession countries. Whenever I speak about whenever I react on the reforms proposed by the states, I always stress that the reforms must survive the next elections, and that they have to be sustainable. They will guarantee stabilization of the system, legal certainty for the citizens and businesses, and it should be also guaranteed by the Hungarian system. So I said I have to leave, and then I am as long as this, so I will be already.
Anyway, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vice President. Very much appreciated.
Have a good day.
You deserve this time for us, and we wish you all the best. Thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you.